Hello, everyone. Welcome to the very first and hopefully not the last Crew First Culture podcast. My name is Jeremy Sanders. I know what you're thinking. Finally, there's another podcast to listen to because there's just not enough. I get it. I know there are thousands of podcasts out there, at least it seems. I know that even if you break it down to the small niche of fire service related podcasts, there's still dozens, and there are still very, very good ones. I I have an hour and a half commute to work, and I spend 95% of it, I would say, listening to podcasts. So a lot of good stuff out there. I in no means think that I have a better product. I in no means think that I have something that's just so original that nobody else is doing it. I think that the reason I am here is because, to be honest, I feel like I've been blessed with a message. And basically, this is just the next step in the journey to spread and share that message with as many people as I can. So that's why I'm here. I am not any kind of leadership guru. I don't have all the answers. I don't come from a super impressive fire service pedigree. I don't have a lot of letters after my name from certifications or uh, graduated classes that I've been to. I just don't. But what I do have is I care for my family very much, for my family at home and for my family at the firehouse. And hopefully, with this media that I'm getting into now, that will extend out to the family that I have through the podcast. And so, that being said, that just leads into kind of what has brought me here, and that is an intense passion for leadership. It's an intense passion for building a culture that most places I've seen don't have. You know, I want to create something special, and I feel like I've been given an opportunity to do some things differently than what I've seen, and so, that'll be part of the discussion along the way. I don't really want to get into a lot of bio on me. To be honest, this is the second, well, probably about the fifth time I've tried to record this because I felt like once I start getting into so much about me, it gets boring and I didn't want to listen to it myself. So I don't expect anybody else to. So we'll probably get into a little bit here and there on myself. I'm a career firefighter. Also, just started working some volunteer work for my little town I live in, and currently in the position of captain at my career department, which I've been there for 18 years. So, just a little bit about myself. The the thing about the podcast is, you know, uh, the last 6 months or so, I've really experienced a season of growth, career-wise and leadership-wise, as far as just wanting to learn and being hungry for knowledge and gaining to what I feel is a message that I want to share. And so I definitely want to spend a lot of time talking about stuff like that, talking about leadership, discussing fire service culture and what we can do to both preserve some of the good tradition, but at the same time letting some of the lesser traditional qualities that really aren't fitting for nowadays. Let them go and to kind of gain some new perspectives on things as well. And, and I'd love to get into some training. Love to talk about team building and basically anything to do with creating an atmosphere where we love coming to work. That's my wheelhouse. That's what I love to do. And so, like I said, we'll spend a lot of time talking about those things. Here in the past week, I've been kind of made, I have been made aware just through thought processes and talking with friends that there very well could be a lot more that I need to be sharing with everybody. And by that I mean not just the fun stuff, not just the things I like to talking about leadership, talking about culture, but talking about life situations, life circumstances that I have personally been through, and those of anyone I bring on in order to help people that may be going through that same thing now. The what kind of started that process was here within the past couple of weeks. I've been asked to be a part of our peer support team at my department, and I didn't realize that was going to really turn into anything emotionally for me. I just thought, okay, yeah, I mean, if somebody needs to talk to me, that's what I do anyway. I'm more than happy to talk to anybody that needs to be talked, needs to get some advice or whatever. So, that's nothing new, but I realized very quickly that once I took that responsibility on, it started moving a lot of gears in my mind of being responsible for these people. My career department has roughly 120 people. So not only am I responsible for the five personnel at my station, which is a big responsibility for me that I take very serious. Now I'm partly responsible for 120, 130 people. And it was kind of eye-opening for me to kind of work myself through that process. I have been through a lot. That's that's the easiest, lightest way to sum it up. I have I have dealt with some stuff, and to tell you the truth, mental health and fire in the fire service has always been something that I just click to the next thing. If I see a podcast that has to do with mental health or with suicide or anything like that, I literally click to the next one. I had no interest in it. I anything class wise, anything, I just avoided it. I I didn't have trying to think of the right way to describe it. I just didn't have it in me to deal with anything else. I think I got to a point in my life where I was just trying to survive, just trying to keep my head above water, and I didn't have anything else in me for anything or anybody else. And of course, those times are long gone. I'm in a great place, career and personal wise right now, and family wise is so much different and so just incredibly changed. So that being said, now I need to pass that on. I feel like me going through all that stuff and not doing anything with it is completely wasting those experiences. I went through all that pain, all of those hard times for nothing if I didn't try to use that message, use those experiences to help somebody. So, as much as I have historically tried to ignore and run from these type of situations, if I was being completely honest with myself, I would say that I have a lot more to give in that area than any other area. As much as I wish leadership was my one thing that I could help the most people with, it's just simply not the truth. So we will definitely get into some of that stuff. I know there are people out there hurting. I know there are people out there just trying to keep your head above water, and I know what it feels like. So we will discuss some things that, deal with some mental health, deal with some family issues, deal with some struggles, and deal with the light at the end of the tunnel, which is always there, even though sometimes it's hard to see. So we will definitely get there. I think that's something that I can definitely give some people out there, and is some hope, because I promise you, if I made it through what I made it through, I know that kind of sounds goofy, but if I made it through it, anybody can. So, it's just some general just basic topics, dealing with family problems such as mental health with your family, suicide attempts with your family. If you have a spouse that's got a chemical dependency, dealing with any kind of mental, emotional, physical abuse, just being a single parent. There's so many things that are good topics that people need to hear. So, like I've said over and over, we will definitely get into some of that. And that being said, if there are any topics like that you need to hear about, or that you need to talk about, feel free to send me some information. Send me, hey, I'd like to hear you talk about your situation that you dealt with a spouse who had chemical dependency. I'm on Instagram. I've got Facebook. You can email me. Any of these ways you can get a hold of me, and kind of tell me what you need to hear, so that we can kind of get into it. Because, like I said, I've never been somebody to really just talk about this stuff. I am very open, very honest with anybody who asks. I've already talked to several people in my department about some things, just trying to help them out. I've just never been the one to start the conversation, and that's where my area of growth will be with this podcast, is I am now becoming that voice to start conversations, which I have never been. So bear with me. We'll hopefully talk about some things that will really help us grow, help us learn, get better through each other. I've already got a list in my head of quite a few people I'd like to have on to discuss some different things. I don't want everything to be, down, and I want to have an uplifting, positive podcast. But I know that there will be topics that just need to be discussed. That's fine. That's good. But we will have fun and enjoy those conversations as well. So I'm super excited. I appreciate so much anybody who's taken the time to listen to me. I know time is very valuable. We've got 7 kids ourselves, 5 of which are home. My wife's a nurse full time, so time is a premium. We we are in the middle of the coronavirus quarantine era, so things are really crazy. Uh, it seems like there's just no personal time to be had. And I almost laugh to myself when I say that, because I am literally in my closet right now recording this, because it's probably the quietest and maybe only decently quiet place in my whole house. So I get it. And that just makes me appreciate you all more, knowing that how important time is. So I'll be very, very respectful of your time. This first one's going to be pretty short, just because I want to kind of introduce myself a little bit, talk a little bit about what's to come, and maybe discuss a little bit about where Crew First Culture came from, and that's it. We'll leave you at that, and hopefully get started and kind of into the meat of some topics later on. But again, I appreciate you spending time with us. As far as the crew first culture, it's that's the title of my Instagram and Facebook pages, and obviously the podcast. I just it's came from a process of just working through my department, working up through the ranks. And I really had a wake up call once I promoted to captain a couple years ago, literally right at 2 years ago, when I finally became in charge of crew, is how important it is for me to be responsible for that crew and for the culture that exists there. Yeah, each piece of the puzzle, each crew member has their little thing they add to it. But ultimately, that station, that engine, that crew, we run at high levels or we slug ourselves along the way, all because of how I allow the culture to go. We've got a very good thing going on right now where I'm at. I love the crew I have. I love the station that I'm at. It's just a great place to be. And but that doesn't mean it's easy. Every day is a day that you consciously have to work on that culture. And so it's a work in progress always, but it's doable. I'm a firm believer in you can make and create that with whoever you have. You just have to figure out how to reach each individual to pull that positivity and that you know that good out of them. So crew first culture is obviously pretty self-explanatory. I am a firm believer that taking care of my crew is number one for me because I know that if I take care of them, they will take care of me. They will do the best they can for me. And just digging a little bit deeper in that, I love talking to other people about them, telling how proud I am of them. I love telling them personally how proud I am of them. I love making them know how much I appreciate them. And that in turn, I know that because they understand how much I care about them, they see how much I'll fight for them. I know that they will do every single thing they can to accomplish whatever task is put in front of them. And they do. Yeah, they're not perfect, just like I'm not perfect. We mess up, we get into slumps, we slack off, we forget things here and there, but without saying anything, they will step up and say, "Hey, Captain, I'm sorry, I messed up. I did this, I did that, we did this, we've been whatever," because they want to do good by me, and that's only because I treat them with respect, with love, and show them that I care for them. If I didn't have that respect that was built because of that, because of how I treated them, it wouldn't be like that. You know, I would have a station full of people that would sit around if they were allowed to sit around and be okay with it. It's okay to sit around sometimes, but to have somebody come and apologize to you because they were being lazy is impressive to me because they know I'm okay with you resting, but they know inside I expect more out of them. And that is literally what has happened just here recently in our crew. And it it deeply impressed me with the caliber people that I was leading. And that has nothing to do with me. The best I can do is just learn how to work that little part of them out. Because sometimes you'll get some people that you can see that potential in them, but they can't. And nobody else ever has. Nobody else has ever challenged them. And to be honest, that is what really gets me going. If I can take somebody that other people have given up on, other people have basically thrown away, and I can take them to the next level and many levels above that, because really all I'm doing is just giving an effort, that really makes it worth it to me. And that's what I'm looking for. I love seeing people succeed. I love seeing people just progress and grow through life. And that is exactly what Crew First Culture is. And that's why I'm here. That's the message that I've been blessed with, and more than happy any chance I get to share with anybody that's willing to listen. So that's about it, guys. I appreciate your time again. We try to sit down and come up with some topics that I can come up with. I really hope that I'm not the one talking all the time, every time, because I don't want to hear that, and I know you don't want to hear that. There's too many good people out there that I could bring on and really shoot ideas off each other and gain some energy and all that. So I'll do my best at that. I don't know how often I can do this. I don't want to just throw product out there that is junk that nobody wants to listen to. I want to make sure that when I'm speaking that I have purpose and I have a message. So I'll get back into it as quickly as I can, and we'll keep rolling. But I really appreciate it. Look forward to any kind of communication I have with any of you. Like I said, I'm on Instagram and Facebook at Crew First Culture, and email if you'd like to get a hold of me that way is crewfirstculture, that's with a one, at yahoo.com. So thanks for your time. Look forward to the next one. Thank you.